There's a decent chance neither Donald Trump nor Ted Cruz will end the primaries with the 1,237 delegates necessary to become the Republican nominee on a first ballot at the party's convention. Trump, however, will have more delegates going in. Now, Trump says this means he should win the nomination automatically. He says he has the will of the people behind him. This is nonsense. Here's why. In reality, more people have voted against Donald Trump than for him. In other words, the will of the people is against him. That's what the 1237 delegate rule is all about. 1237 isn't some arbitrary number. It's 50% plus one delegate of the total delegates that will attend. In other words, the majority. If a candidate doesn't have the majority, he doesn't have the will of the people. There are more people against him than for him. This is why across the country we have runoff elections. Elections in which 3 or more candidates split the vote. The leader has the most votes, but not an outright majority, so we take the top 2 candidates and we run an entirely new race. That's designed to prevent voters from being disenfranchised by throwing out their votes for a candidate who didn't finish in the top 2. So, for example, let's say you voted for Marco Rubio. Well, according to Trump, your vote should basically be discounted. It should be thrown out. According to a runoff system, you should be able to now choose between the remaining candidates. Of course, presidential politics aren't the only place where winning requires not just more of something, but an actual outright majority. Take the World Series in baseball. The series is comprised of 7 games. The winner of the series has to win 4 of the 7, a majority. Let's say Team A wins the first 4 games in a row. Boom, that's it. It's a sweep. No more games required. But if Team A only wins 3 of the first games and then loses the 4th, well, nobody's won the series yet. They have to keep playing until somebody gets that 4th win. Might take 1 more game, might take 3, but until one team wins an actual majority, it does not matter who is ahead. So, if Donald Trump gets to 1237 by winning in elections, that's it. No more games required. But if he doesn't, and he likely won't at this point, he hasn't won the nomination. He's ahead, but he hasn't won. He doesn't have the will of the people. He has to keep playing until he does. But how do you keep playing when every state has already voted? Well, that's what the convention's for. The states are represented by their delegates. The candidates will have to keep working those delegates until one of them actually wins the majority. Isn't there a better way to do this? Well, maybe. But Trump can't change the rules in the middle of the game. Neither can Cruz. That would be called cheating. By the way, these have been the rules for at least 150 years, going all the way back to the earliest Republican conventions. In fact, the 1860 contest looked a lot like this one. There was a frontrunner, a candidate who had the most votes going in, but he, like Donald Trump, did not have a majority. He didn't have the will of the people, so he had to keep playing. He didn't play hard enough or smart enough. He wound up losing the nomination to a candidate who started from behind but kept working, like Ted Cruz is trying to do, until he won the majority. That comeback candidate, his name was Abraham Lincoln. Trump is a guy who claims to be better at making deals than anyone. He has vastly more money to spend than any other candidate. He does have a better chance than anyone of getting to the majority, but he isn't there yet. The majority is still against him. He does not have the will of the people.